I'm now live. All right. While we're letting this thing spool up, I want to say good morning, or I guess it's only morning if you're in the west coast of the U.S. It's pretty much not morning everywhere else. Um, Start off with let me know where you're coming in from. Before, I'm going to have a very special guest. If you were not paying attention to I just had Rich Roll on the show, and it was dope, and so many questions we couldn't get to it. So I want to focus. I'm going to bring Rich here in just a second and have him answer a few questions. I got his new book here. I'm about to bring him on. Um, it's going to be dope. Germany's in the house. The UK, Canada, actually all the crown is here. ATX in the house. Wyoming, Seattle, awesome. All right, I'm gonna bring Rich Roll on right this minute. Go live. Waiting for Rich. There he is. So good. I don't need these stupid things anymore. What am I doing? My man, great to see you in a different platform. I want to say thank you in a I guess I just finished thanking you on our show, but for those who missed it, we just recorded an episode of the Chase Jarvis live show on Creative Live with yours truly and Mr. Rich Roll, who is joining us right now. And I think there was somewhere in between 60 and 100 questions that I didn't even have a chance to look at. And so I wanted to take just 10 minutes here, give a couple of the folks who came over to this platform a chance to ask you a few questions. And I want to start off, though, by giving you some mad props here for your book. This is Rich's new book called Voicing Change. It is beautiful, my man. Yes. Self-published. You've done so many big books with the publishers. I just appreciate this is seriously so beautiful. And as someone who's gonna be giving this to a lot of folks, I would love to get up front. Where's the best way for people to pick this up if anyone's curious? Look at all the words just like firing in here. Where to get it?
Thank you, my friend, for having me. It was super fun doing that live, and it's fun to be here as well. The book is available exclusively on my website at richroll.com. richroll.com/VC is the URL. We ship globally. We'll ship anywhere. Shipping might be expensive, but the book is not on Amazon. The only way to get it is through the website.
Wow. So I just think that is it's brilliant in a time where, people can't go to bookstores. Amazing time to self-publish a book. I understand one of the things that I think is extra special is that you're doing signed copies if they go there. Is that right? Is that anybody, or is that special?
Yeah. So when you go to order it, you can buy it normally, or you can toggle on the menu and click signed, and then I'm signing books. So I've been spending a lot of hours signing books lately. Gift, it's awesome. I love it. I love doing it, and I'm really proud to have the book out. And we should say at the top, like, proud to feature you, Chase. Chase is there's a beautiful profile of Chase with some amazing photos of him in the book. It's basically a cross section of a lot of the guests that we've had on the show, but proud to feature Chase's wisdom that he shared in the show.
It was a treat. It was one of my favorite interviews I've ever given in, whatever the 2 decades of giving them. And that's a testament to your ability to extract value. And that's one of the things, and then put it out into the world. We were talking on the podcast, which is going to be live here not too soon. We'll get the audio out quickly for those who are tempted and excited about what we're doing right here. You should go check that out. But this, like, your ability to capture lightning in a bottle, and both in your podcast and here in the book, just give me a little bit on creative process. How did you decide what to put in the book? You've had more than 500 episodes on the Rich Roll podcast, 100 million downloads. How did you distill the wisdom and then put it into a book?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think, like yourself, you've been doing this longer than I have, and all these guests and all the wisdom just becomes this, like, soup in your unconscious mind. And I wanted to find a way to honor the journey that I've been on, to honor the guests that have been gracious with their time with me, and also, honor the audience that cares about not just the show, but the ideas, that the show is about. And the book is a great, I felt like there's something about having something tactile in the world that's very different from the digital space that, we inhabit, that makes it special. There's something timeless about that. And I wanted to create a that was representative of the show, that reflected not just the sensibility and the ethos, but also kind of the tone, or the aesthetics of what I'm trying to communicate. So it's very much a design heavy kind of coffee table book. You described it as a Trojan horse, which I hadn't heard that before. I love that.
Yeah.
You're in for the photographs, but then you get clobbered with some of the insights from the many people that I've had on the show over the years, and I love that about it. It's a way of kind of reframing of these ideas, many of which track back millennia, and framing them in a modern context that makes them appealing and aspirational and digestible.
Yeah, it's the sugar with the medicine, man. We need the sugar up front, and then we get clobbered with the medicine. There's a bunch of questions in here. Josh Battlebassi says, is it written similar to Tim Ferriss's style book, or more like a narrative? Why don't you go ahead and answer that? You're familiar with Tools of Titans and Tribe of Mentors.
Yeah, I've read both of those books, and I think those books are both tremendous, fantastic and very helpful books to read that I would highly recommend. This one's a little bit different. It's similar in the sense that, I tried to identify a representative cross-section of the guests that I've had over the years, and I selected 50 and then, curated the order of those guests. And each section has, amazing photographs of these individuals. It has my introduction to contextualize, who they are. And then we transcribed all of these podcasts and excerpted from them the most powerful nuggets, which then kind of have to be edited because people talk differently. It looks weird so you have to make it sort of in book form. And then we have essays that some of the guests contributed. We've got a beautiful introduction, so it's laced with a bunch of different things, but it's really meant to be a coffee table book. You can open it up to any page and immerse yourself in the guest of the, I suppose. So it's much more visual heavy than Tim's books.
Yeah, and as a visual person, I really appreciated the aesthetic and being able to, see some of the folks. If I missed an episode or didn't, I subscribe ardently to everything you do, but occasionally I miss a YouTube version of a show, and so it's nice to put a little bit of visual context with some of the folks that I've heard. And I really, really appreciated it. It's so well done. Maybe I'm going to do this here, just like for folks. So you too, as it turns out, can have an autographed copy. Where's my autograph in here from the man? I think it's right on the next page, right there. And some great photography. And just for the folks at home here, there's Ryan and Wim Hof, Ed Norton, Alex Honnold. Man, that's off the top turnbuckle, big time wrestling style right there. That's so beautiful.
Thank you.
Wanted to make sure to answer a couple comments here, or a couple questions, if so. Question from some on, is it available in Australia?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I said, we're shipping globally. We shipped to Australia. We just mailed out a batch the other day to Australia. The shipping costs are what they are. We don't make any money on the shipping, but shipping can be can be substantial when we're trying to get this thing to you across the planet. And I think this is part of on the self-publishing tip. When you decide hey, we're going to be responsible for all of this, then you become responsible for customer service and fulfillment and all these things. And we're in a culture where everybody expects free shipping, and or shipping at $1. And when when you work with Amazon, they can make that happen, but they also take 40%. Like this is a whole like business thing. So we didn't want to do that. We wanted to be, outside of the Amazon ecosystem, and we're doing this ourselves. So the shipping, I don't know what it costs specifically, but I'll just warn you, like it's not nothing, but we'll get it to you if you want us to. We'll get it out right away.
Absolutely. We're seeing people have just ordered or just received them in Canada, in London, the UK there. A question, one more discovery, a question for you, Rich. Who's coming up on the show that you can get excited about? Or is there some dream guests that you are working on?
Working on a couple cool ones. I don't know if I want to share too much.
Yeah, don't give it up.
We'll tell you this. I was supposed to do it with Laird Hamilton tomorrow. We were scheduled to do it, and it appears that there's a swell coming, and God forbid I get between that guy and a wave. So we have to reschedule that one. He's one I've been looking forward to for a long time. I just had Blake Mykoski in here the other day. Have you?
I haven't, but I think we're in contact with him, founder of Tom's Shoes, for those who don't know. Amazing entrepreneur, social entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. You just had him?
Yeah, I just had him on. That was great. My buddy Brian Fogel, who made the Icarus documentary. Did you see that documentary?
Oh, incredible.
He's got a new movie out, this unbelievable documentary about the Khashoggi situation that's coming out in mid-December. So I'm getting him back in here to talk. And who else? Got some people. And that's,
Oh yeah, we can't give it away. You can't give it up, and definitely do not get between Laird and basically anything. Dude's a beast. Don't get between him and anything. Let's see a couple other questions here. Let's see. I'm sorry, I'm going back. There's too many comments here for me to. Comment from Nicole Fataja. You are literally glowing with good health, Rich. You do look like warm and tan. I look like I'm like an Eskimo. I don't know.
The beard is white, my friends. I'll post a picture on everyone's like, you look like Wim Hof. I'm like, probably not a good. I love Wim Hof, but like, I'm not 62 or whatever he is.
Vegan bodybuilding and fitness just ordered a signed copy just now. That's good to hear. Folks in Brazil want it in Portuguese. I'm guessing you're not going to translate this thing into 10 languages because it has some photography, but any plans there?
Not yet. We'll see how this one does. This is like print copy only. There's no digital Kindle version, and it's not really an audiobook kind of thing. But because we're self-publishing, we're going to pay attention to how it does. And if there's a demand for translations, we'll certainly, explore that. And the idea is that we can do a new one of these every year, like another volume. And I think there is an opportunity to do something cool with audio, like an audio documentary kind of vibe with these guests. So we're looking into trying to do something like that as well.
Awesome. If you're just joining us, I'm at Chase Jarvis on the Instagrams, and we are with at Rich Roll, legend, ultra fitness person, #1 New York Times best-selling author. You're a bazillion things, man. You've done so much cool shit, and it's nice to see you now in the self-publishing world, putting out a hardtable coffee back book. Wanted to get to a couple other questions here. One around Arba_fitness in these crazy lockdown times. How do we start proper conversations about the long-term impact of our mental health? I know mental health has been on so many people's minds. We're dealing with isolation, with disease, with an economic, crisis. Mental health is obviously critical and has been something that both of us, you and I, have collectively advocated for. But to Arba Fitness's question, how do we really, continue to encourage that conversation? And what are you doing?
Yeah, I think it's crucial. The conversation now amidst the pandemic is monopolized by masks, and I wear a mask when I go out in public and all that kind of, I'm trying to be a good citizen with all that kind of stuff, but we only give lip service to the downstream mental health implications of what we're all enduring. And I consider myself to be somebody mentally fit, and as a diehard introvert, I went into this lockdown thinking this is going to be fine for me. Like, I can just create and be by myself, and I can remove everything from my calendar and no one's going to bother me. And I found myself, going through the waves of everything from, malaise to despair over what's happening. And I realized how much I miss my community, how much I miss travel and adventure and just being, and the things that we're all, starving for right now. But the truth is, we don't know how much longer we're going to be in this situation. So we're going to be while, and we've got to come up with effective strategies to not thrive but thrive. And I think making your mental health a priority is absolutely crucial. When our instinct is, let's just sit on the couch, our watch, and wait till things get back to normal. Instead, we've got to get out of our comfort zones and get active about how we're protecting our mental health. And that means, to the extent that you can, maintain some kind of interpersonal connection with people in your community, to be able to figure out a way to do that safely. I think it means really going out of your way to remain connected with your friends, and whether that's on Zoom or whatever, to not let those friendships wither just because we're cloistered and separated geographically, and to find a way to still make sure that you are engaged in the things that bring you happiness. Right now, so many things are closed and avenues are unavailable to us, so we've got to get creative, right? How can we flex creative muscles around bringing expression to the things that generate joy in our lives? Because that's crucial to mental health as well. And I think physical movement is important too. Like, we're static right now, gyms are closed and the like, but you've got to find a way to move your bodies on a daily basis, because that mind-body connection is absolutely crucial. And all the sedentary, stuff that we're doing is, contributing to this decline in our mental well-being. So it's going to look different for every single person, but I think just making sure that it's top of mind, that you're thinking about it, and that you're taking actions towards protecting your mental health is absolutely crucial right now.
It's amazing how the physicality and actually getting outside, moving your body, how connected that is for everyone that I know who's got a really solid and robust, mental framework as a foundation for what it is they want to do, be, or become in this world. So many, the physicality is a key role in that. And I think that's under discussed in our culture. And you don't have to be a super athlete. You don't have to be Laird Hamilton. Mm-hmm. You don't have to be, Rich Roll and going to go out and run 100 miles, like literally a walk around the block. There's a handful of other questions that I think I'd like to get to, Rich, real quick. One from Plain and Simple is, and if you're just now joining, one of the 150 or so people are watching right this second. I'm Chase Jarvis on the internets. I'm with @RichRoll, legendary ultra triathlete, New York Times bestselling author, one of the best podcasts in the world, in the Rich Roll podcast. He just put out a new book, and it is incredible. It's a must see. I've got it right here. It's called Voicing Change. It's an absolutely stunner of a book, just a beautiful piece of art. Plain and Simple wants to know, what did you learn about yourself, Rich, in creating your most recent book? I hate these questions.
That's so good.
It's a good one. These folks are professionals at asking questions.
I mean, there's two parts. I think there's two parts to this. One is the book is a reflection of this journey that I've been on over the last 8 years. So there's what I learned through the journey of doing this podcast, and then there's the process of canonizing it and putting the essence of that into book form. What I learned along the journey of hosting the podcast is too innumerable to even mention. And as somebody who's been doing this longer than I have, we talked about this earlier, but all the wisdom of the guests that you have just kind of becomes this soup in your mind that informs, how you make decisions and live your life. some ways mundane and in other ways very profound. Process of putting the book together, what it taught me was it was very empowering to do this as a self-published book, to realize that we could marshal the resources and the creative talent to create something. Like I've done my books in the past with publishing houses, and they take care of a lot of this stuff, and we should have the responsibility of doing that ourselves, which was scary and intimidating and certainly out of my comfort zone. Also, like, if you're self-publishing, do people think that you couldn't get a publishing deal, or what if no one, but it's like there's a lot of kind of fears and unknowns that come up, and just walking through that, I think, was a learning experience of like, I've done it the other way, let's see how this is going to go, and we're going to make mistakes and we're not going to get it perfect, but ultimately, what I've learned is not only once again have I figured out that I'm capable of more than I thought that I was by taking that leap of faith and trying something I haven't tried before. I learned that, and I continue to learn that. And second to that you don't need like all these other, you think you need the publishing house to give you this external stamp of validation. And when, stepping outside of that and freeing yourself from that has made me feel like liberated. Like I've got people that care about what I'm doing, and I'm just trying to serve them. Like I'm not interested in making, bestseller lists or moving, however many units. Like I just want to be able to honor the people that have, taken this journey with me. And this is really intended as, as a gift for them. And so that I think makes this special and a little bit different than the other books. And it also feels really good. So I learned that as well.
God, doesn't it feel good? I love that. And for those watching, like just to hear Rich talk, someone who's created so much success for himself and in traditional channels, and there's just continued sort of re-elevated, always revisiting how to push oneself, how to try something new. For most folks who, if you don't have anything, you got nothing to lose, as they say. Mm-hmm. And when you have a career and a platform and so many things that you've made for yourself, Rich, like the willingness to just continue to take risks and experiment and to do it in plain sight, very inspirational, man. Kudos to you.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks, man.
What's that?
You lit the path.
Oh man, that's
ahead of me.
I've said it on the previous times I've been on your show. You've been on mine. I feel a deep connection to you. We joke that we're brothers from another mother's, despite having really only spent maybe a half a dozen hours together in real life, maybe 10. But I always enjoy our conversations. And there's one last question, and there it is, right there, baby.
Book for people, just so you guys know, beautiful section layout of Chase.
Two spreads,
dude. There's a third page.
A third page.
Look at this, a double fold out.
Dang.
So,
bam.
You're booking a lot of geography in this book, my friend.
Well, grateful for that. I got one last question in service of the audience who's tuned in here. Again, I'm at Chase Jarvis. You're talking to at Rich Roll here for anyone who just recently joined. And this question is from Pam Stuckey, who I've seen in my feeds for years. Curious and passionate learner. You've talked a lot about spirituality and disconnected from formal religion, just this, the ability of the connection that we have with our world, with ourselves, with others. And Pam's curious if you have any experience around quantum science. There's a spirituality in the realm that many of us culturally know it, but there's also this sort of the next level of science talks about how the distance between science and spirituality is really narrow. And she's curious if you've got any grounding in quantum science, and she's fascinated and wants to hear more from people who talk as clearly and as simply as you do.
That's a very specific question. I'll preface my answer by saying, no, I do not have direct experience with quantum science. I wouldn't consider myself a scientist, but I think what you're getting at is just the mystery of spirituality. And there's this idea that science and spirituality are these two worlds that not only do not coexist, but are anathema to each other. Like you're either living in the scientific evidence-based world or you're living in woo-woo land. And I don't really look at it like that. I think the more steeped you become in the mysteries of science, the more robust your appreciation for the unknown becomes. And when you drill down into these quantum fields, you know, again, I'm hardly, you know, somebody steeped in this, but the distinction between light and energy starts to, you know, become less clear. And the way that subatomic particles operate still is so mysterious, and it speaks to, you know, a broader mystery about where we come from and where we're going and the vastness of the universe, and we can go down that rabbit hole forever. But the main point that I guess I would like to make is that the more you appreciate just how beautifully mysterious science is, I find that to be not in contradiction to developing a robust spiritual perspective in life, but actually ammunition for that. Because the crazier it is and the less grip we're able to have on, you know, what that means, I find that to be like a way of expanding like my appreciation for the mystical.
So well said. From a non-scientist, you just greased it.
Or you just go see, you know, Interstellar or something like that. Try to understand what's going on.
No, I love the connection between those two things, and things like visualization. It's a great explanation for why making pictures in your mind, you know, helps the quantum field, gives it something to locate itself around. And not only if the tree falls in the wood and no one's around to hear it, but there's no tree. For those who know anything about the quantum field, I think I'm wildly oversimplifying it, but I loved your answer, the interplay there between mysticism, spirituality, and the scientific world. A lot of shouts out now for Interstellar, the films. I want to wrap up, but dude, I want to say again, congratulations. I cannot recommend this book highly enough. Voicing Change, beautiful coffee table book, an amazing gift for the holiday here. Congratulations on the book. Go to richroll.com/ or you can do it at richroll.com, and it's everywhere there, but if richroll.com/VC for Voicing Change. Anything else you want to say about the book, man, before we let these folks get back to their day?
Just that I'm really proud of it. I'm so excited. Today is the official publishing day, and we've been shipping them out. And it's really cool to see people sharing it on Instagram and enjoying the book. And you know, just to credit again, this was a team effort. I worked with some really amazing photographers and graphic designers and book layout people. So it's not my name is on the cover, but it's really about, you know, this team of talented artisans that I worked with, and it's about celebrating, you know, the guests in the audience. So I just appreciate everybody who's, you know, taking a chance on it, and everybody who tuned in today. You know, this one's
awesome. Well, we just recorded a podcast on my show, the Chase Jarvis Live Show, put out by Creative Live, and that is going to be live in the audio version soon. And I think we simulcast it, so it's on your Facebook and my Facebook and Creative Live's Facebook. If you can't find what we just did, we just took 90 minutes.
Yeah, I don't know what else we could do. Every channel that I have, so hopefully people.
Awesome. Well,
Thanks.
Much gratitude for being on the show. Congrats on the book, man, and I'll look forward to talking to you where some other folks don't necessarily watch us talk right now. But next time we get together, I'm looking forward to it, buddy.
I'm going to make it up to Seattle at some point soon, and I got to find a way to check out your whole deal and spend some time with you. And I really appreciate it. Thank you so much, Chase.
Happy to do it. We're just the hot pool and the cold plunge right out there. They're calling your name.
No shortage of cold plunges where you live.
Shout out, dude. Thanks so much for being on the show, and look forward to next time we get to hang, bud. Be well.
Peace.
See ya.
All right.
All right, folks. Bye-bye.